I heard Wednesday speaking to her parents about my plight. They seemed alarmingly agreeable to the situation. The truth is, her family has always treated me kindly. Wednesday is fortunate to have parents who embrace the abysmal with such enthusiasm. I thanked Mr. and Mrs. Addams and headed towards the parking area. Wednesday helped me place my luggage in the back before climbing into the hearse. I settled next to her, with her parents sitting opposite us. 3 hours in this vehicular coffin, it promises to be entertaining.
Sinclair and I sat side by side, facing my parents. For some unknowable reason, they regarded me with that familiar, faintly sinister smile. Sinclair, naturally, was practically beaming at them, which was typical, given that she is as incessantly cheerful and blindingly iridescent as a rainbow after a fresh atrocity.
Thank you both so much for letting me stay,
she chirped.
Oh, it's nothing, my little pet. We are delighted you are helping Wednesday. She doesn't have many companions, so we are happy to return the favor to you.
My mother purred with a knowing, sly smile. 2 hours dissolved into a conversation between my parents and Sinclair, a discourse I had no interest in joining. Sinclair was utterly radiant and talkative, which led me to suspect she harbored some calculated agenda for engaging with them. She ceaselessly prompted father to recount tales of my early childhood, then sat back to savor them, like a particularly patient spider observing its prey. I must confess I found myself enjoying the sight of her delighted chortles, though my attention was drawn not by the sheer volume of her overpowering voice. Only an hour remained until we reached the house. The clock neared 10 o'clock. Sinclair yawned, then abruptly leaned her head onto my shoulder and drifted into slumber. I was momentarily perplexed by the sudden intimacy, but chose to remain still. The warmth of her body provided a peculiar comfort, much like the satisfaction derived from a perfectly executed murder. I tolerated this feeling. Despite my deepest reservations, I found I tolerated it quite well. I surreptitiously glanced down at the gaudy, fluorescent werewolf upon my shoulder. She looked peaceful, quiescent, a side of her I had not yet been burdened with seeing. My parents exchanged an inquiring look, and I shared their confusion. I had never experienced such a sensation with another being. Was this what proper companionship felt like?
Wednesday, my dear, do you perhaps harbor feelings for the girl?
Mother asked, observing Sinclair fast asleep on my shoulder. No, Mother, I am merely weary of listening to her ceaseless chatter. She gives me a headache.
Of course, my little storm cloud.
Finally, we arrived at the house. It felt as though a decade had passed. I nudged Sinclair with my shoulder, signaling our arrival. She groggily sat up, looked at me, and offered a soft, sleepy smile. I felt my blood rushing conveniently to my face. I could not ascertain why this perpetually happens when Sinclair smiles at me. Perhaps Lurch had foolishly increased the temperature in the hearse earlier. I despise when my body betrays its inner temperature with color.
What time is it, Willa?
It is 10:10 p.m., Enid.
Oh, did I sleep for a whole hour?
She sounded genuinely surprised. Indeed, I should have strangled you for using my shoulder as a pillow. I noticed a faint pink stain briefly appear on her cheeks. This perplexed me further. Such physiological signs must have a cause. I shall attribute it to the weather.
Wednesday, darling, why don't you show little Sinclair to her room? Your father and I will fetch extra blankets and linens.
Very well. Come, Sinclair, before I leave you to perish of exposure out here.
Sinclair promptly rose and followed. I remained puzzled by her seemingly endless reservoir of energy. As we ascended the spiral staircase, I could feel her eyes drilling into the back of my head.
If you continue to stare at me, you will trip, tumble down the stairs, and die, Sinclair.
Is that a threat or a serious warning?
She asked, her voice slightly strained. That, as always, is for you to decide. She then redirected her gaze to the steps, counting each one. We eventually reached the top floor, home to my bedroom and the room designated for Enid. Unfortunately, our rooms share a wall, which portends an impending era of migraines and ruptured eardrums for me. I led her to the adjacent room. She stood outside, surveying it. The room was entirely dark and dreary, perfectly unsuitable for her tastes. "This is your room. Mine is next door. Do not disturb me, or I will remove one of your limbs with a rusty hacksaw, or your eye sockets will no longer contain eyes." She merely stood there and smiled, despite my overt threat. Was she not afraid? Even Tyler feared me, and we had kissed. The thought of Tyler made me involuntarily recoil, finding the memory of that kiss, and my brief enjoyment of it, utterly repulsive. Unexpectedly, Enid wrapped her arms around me in a hug. "Sinclair, what are you doing?" I said icily.
I'm sorry, I just want a warm hug.
She said, her voice laced with sadness. I softened marginally at the sight of genuine sorrow in her eyes. Why the sudden melancholy? Was it the oppressive darkness of her new quarters, or the exhaustion of the journey? "Very well, do not attempt that again, or I shall set you on fire." I yearned to plunge a sharpened object into his pronouncements. Sinclair is not my little rainbow. I simply tolerate her, and she tolerates me.
Good night, Willa. Dream of something terrible.
Could you please refrain from using that abominable nickname? Sinclair frowned upon hearing my dismissal. My intention was not to cause her distress, not that I care if she is distressed. I simply despise having to confront the quintessential puppy dog as she uses on me.
But Willa,
Silence, Sinclair, before I permanently glove your mouth.
Fine, good night.
She replied, walking into her room. I had changed my mind. For some inexplicable reason, I permitted her to address me thusly. Fine, you win, Enid. I permit you to use that ridiculous nickname.
Yes, I knew IT. I knew you would. You always do.
Yes, Enid. Gloat and then go to sleep before I reconsider. She winked at me and disappeared into her room, leaving me outside with a flaming red face. I must be ill. There is no other explanation. It is clearly an allergic reaction to her overwhelming saturation of color.
In the next morning at Addams's house,
I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. I looked at the clock, 2 a.m. Lying in the unfamiliar bed, all I could recall was seeing Wednesday get stabbed. The image replayed in my mind with terrifying clarity. I decided to get out of bed and quietly check on her. She was lying in her usual position, arms crossed over her chest in an X. She looked strangely adorable when she was like this. I much preferred this version of Wednesday to the one in my terrifying nightmare.
If you intend to assassinate me, Sinclair, please be swift.
She spoke suddenly, making me jump. I didn't think she'd be able to sense me. I'm not kidding, I think I nearly wet myself. I wasn't going to assassinate you, Wens. I just had a nightmare about you. I trailed off, feeling a bit awkward admitting it. She sat up, a slight smile playing on her lips. She found my nightmares entertaining, which was disturbing. I should have remembered she's Wednesday. She's not normal.
It is an honor to be the principal protagonist in your nocturnal terrors.
It's not funny, Wednesday. I was genuinely scared. My voice dropped lower. The image of her being impaled flashed through my mind again as I looked at her. I am not sure why, but I am terrified of someone killing her and terrified of never seeing her again, losing the one person who sees me for who I am. She is my best friend, and witnessing Tyler nearly kill her made me realize that Wednesday is not invincible, and she can die.
Why are you afraid, Sinclair? It was merely a nightmare, one of the more interesting varieties of slumber. But what was it about? Did you dream I pursued you with a 9-inch blade, attempting to sever your vocal cords?
No, you were stabbed. Her facial expression shifted from neutral to something infinitesimally close to shock. It was minute, but enough for me to notice. I walked over to her bed, hoping she would allow me to sit. Can I sit here?
I suppose.
The silence hung heavy. I think we were both contemplating the nightmare. Did she seem to be concealing something? I wouldn't push her. Wednesday will never speak if I press her. Can I sleep here? Just for tonight. I'll even sleep on the floor. Please, Wences. I pleaded, putting on my puppy eyes, knowing they sometimes work on her to get what I want.
Fine. You may stay. The bed is large enough for both of us, and Mother would force me to wear pink if she discovered I made you sleep on the floor. But be warned, touch me, and you die.
You're the best, Wednesday. Yay! I scampered to the other side of the bed and burrowed under the covers. The bed was strangely warm, and I caught the faint scent of vanilla and old books, exactly like Wednesday. I loved it. I turned to face her. She was lying on her back, facing the ceiling, as usual. Wednesday?
What is it, Enid?
I'm sorry for everything you went through at Nevermore. I know you enjoyed most of it, but I know some of it took a mental toll on you, like you stopped writing your novel and playing the cello as much. I started to notice it over the weeks leading up to the incident. I mean, I wanted to apologize for leaving you alone when you needed me the most. She rotated to face me, our faces mere inches apart. I could feel my face heating up, though I wasn't sure why. It was like I was developing a crush on her or something, but she's a girl and my best friend, so that can't be it.
Do not apologize. I did not require your presence, and my mental health is perfectly intact. I ceased those activities because I needed to focus on a more detailed investigation.
Her words felt like tiny, cold needles, but it was fine. I've heard worse from my mother. Okay, I turned away.
I apologize, Enid. Perhaps I was a little harsh.
I immediately turned back to face her. In the depths of her chocolate brown eyes, I could see a genuine flicker of remorse. It's okay, Wednesday. Apology accepted. She softened, looking into my eyes. I had a sudden, extremely impulsive thought, to reach out and tap her nose. She'd kill me! Boop, I said in tapping her nose.
I will kill. I will decapitate one of your stuffed animals.
Wednesday Addams was soft on me. That's so cool. I thought you were going to kill me, I joked.
I'm arranging it.
I'm kidding. Don't.
I am not certain. Now, go to sleep before I truly kill you.
I chuckled at her threat, closed my eyes, and quickly drifted off. This time, I dreamt of puppies and Wednesday. What? Damn it.